Morning, everybody. It's Andy speaking. It's the 2nd of April, and this is my 34th week without alcohol. I'm trying to make a video every week, as I've mentioned on many of my videos, is partly for myself, just to see what I was thinking at the time, but also to help others if it is of any help to other people. This week has been really like most other recent weeks, in the sense that there's not been any particular desire to drink or pressures to or inclination to, really. I did make a stew this week, a beef stew, and I had some beer that I'd had previously when I was drinking, and I poured some of that beer into the stew to give it some more flavour. And I I went to tell my wife, because I did it in the morning, and I just wondered if she came down without me being there, she might think, oh, I'd had something to drink when I hadn't. So I told her. But I also had a tiny, probably about 10 ml. I taste it, and I have to say, I don't know what I was expecting, but it tasted absolutely lovely, if I'm honest. And I could have easily have drank that, maybe not in the morning, but I probably could have drank that later on that day, or that evening, easily. So, I was hoping it would taste horrible, or it would be too strong a taste in alcohol or something like that, but it didn't. If it had tasted horrible, that would have sort of reinforced my mindset that maybe, drinking ever again is most likely. Never drinking again is most likely, but it didn't. And I do therefore wonder, yet again, am I going to be a non-drinker, a moderate drinker? And I don't know the answer to that. Last night, my wife and I went out for a bit of food, and we went to a sort of I guess it's a pub, but it does really nice sort of tapas style thing. So lots of little dishes. My wife had a cocktail, a pear martini, which I'd never heard of before, and I had a non-alcoholic Negroni, which was okay. And I had a little tiny taste of her pear martini. I have to say it was absolutely delicious. And it wasn't delicious because of the alcohol. I think it was. I've noticed this with well-made, good cocktails. You can. They're really nice, but they're not too alcoholic because they're bigger drinks, so to speak, and they've got fruits, ice, all that sort of stuff, mixers, all that sort of stuff in it. So I didn't have much. I probably just had a couple of, I don't know, teaspoons full at maximum. But what was nice about it is, I didn't have an urge. A bit like when I had the few meals making the stew, I didn't have an urge to have more. I had it, and I enjoyed it, and that was it. And I went back to my non-alcoholic world, really. And it does make me wonder consistently, and I keep saying to my wife, maybe there's going to come a time when I need to go and perhaps have a pear martini, and can I just enjoy the one, or maybe the two? Yeah, but most of the time I don't drink. In an average week, maybe at the weekend I might have one or two, but during the week maybe have nothing. I don't know if that's possible for me. I'd like to test it, but I do fear that if I test it, I'll go backwards, and that's not what I want. So I don't know if I have the strength, if you like, to have that control. I feel I might have it, but I'm not totally sure. Only way to find out is by testing it. And my thinking at the moment is, during this week when I've had a little taste there, a little taste this, maybe I need to get to a year. I'm at 8.5, whatever it is, months. I can't remember now specifically. I've lost track of it. Maybe if I get to a year, that's enough time for me to know that I've got a lot of skin in the game. And if I do have, let's say, a pear martini and really enjoy it, and have two, knowing that if I go any further, I'm going to slip. And maybe that's what I need. I mean, this is all a new element to me because I like to drink, and I drank for many years. So now, thinking about control, of drinking is just not something I really had. I just drank until I wanted to stop. Yeah, I got drunk occasionally, but I didn't get silly or didn't throw up or, drive cars or get into fights or anything like that. But, I just wonder, probably something that any of you that have gone down this journey that maybe have given up for a period of time wonder as well. Maybe you've even tried it. Maybe you've tried to become a moderate drinker. Maybe you've been successful, or maybe you haven't. I'd just be interesting to see what you as individuals what conclusions you've come to. I suspect it will be a very mixed bag. I suspect it will be possibly like I'm thinking, maybe I'll never drink again because I don't have the strength or the will maybe, or the courage to stop when I really want to carry on. Or maybe your period of abstinence has allowed you to get control, real control. So you're drinking it for the enjoyment of what it presents. I have to say, I've had, if you get to the right sort of cocktail type environment, the non-alcoholic ones are really good. I mean, last night I had a non-alcoholic one in a bottle, which isn't as good as having one made by a bar person. And I have had them in that scenario, and to be honest, you wouldn't know the difference. You really wouldn't. They're just as nice either way, with alcohol or without alcohol. I suppose the difference is you don't get that buzz, can I call it, from alcohol. You do get. But so I think, this week has been a week of testing a couple of bits, not being turned off by it, which is in a sense what I hoped, and still the same old question: can I continue? Could I become a moderate drinker, or have I got to recognise that total abstinence is the way forward for me? In a sense, the longer it goes on, the more I think abstinence is best, because I question, why would I bother? And even now, when I'm thinking, I don't fancy a drink right now, but this evening, wouldn't it be nice just to have maybe one or two really good beers and really enjoy them for what they are, and that's it. But my next moment says, well, why? What does that give you? And I've struggled to answer that question, but nevertheless, it's a perpetual question that goes around my mind in regards to alcohol. Maybe I'll never answer it. Maybe I will. The purpose of this video series is to see how that thought develops in my mind, and to document how I was thinking and feeling at the time. But for you out there, if you are curious about what it might feel like, how you may experience life without alcohol, I would definitely recommend that you really give it a crack. I would say a minimum of 30 days. I know that's easier for some people than others, because some people's position is more difficult. Their relationship is more difficult with alcohol than others. But if you're in that sort of frame, I would say 30 days, ideally 90 days, because I think that is enough time to really get it out of your system, both physically and mentally. But that's your choice, and whatever choice you make, even if you just have a temporary lapse of drinking for a month or 2 weeks or a day, or you make a reduction, I just think that's a good thing to do for your future health. I wish I had the knowledge, the strength, the intuition, the courage, the fortitude to do something about this much earlier, but I didn't. And that's the position we have to work in and work with. But I'm glad I do have it now, and I hope that you can get some courage, some fortitude, some will, some strength of will, some luck to come across information maybe like this, or there's plenty of it out there to give you the strength, because it is a journey worth following. In the meantime, maybe just put the drink down. See you soon.